Have you ever had the feeling that something inside you knows where you're going, even when you don't? A quiet force, a whisper in the dark, a pull towards something more real, more whole, more you. This is not imagination. It's not madness. It's your psyche calling you back home. And Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, the soul mapper of the modern age, believed this inner call was the most important journey a human being could take, not to become better, but to become whole. Welcome to the journey of becoming your true self. Imagine your mind as a vast forest. Some paths are lit by the sun, your conscious thoughts, but most of it lies in shadow. We wander through life thinking we are in control, yet our choices, desires, fears, and dreams are often guided by something deeper. Carl Jung saw the mind not as a problem to fix, but as a landscape to explore. He believed the soul has its own compass, but unless we learn to read it, we walk in circles. He wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens." This was not just philosophy for Jung, it was personal. Carl Jung was born in 1875 in a small Swiss village surrounded by lakes and quiet forests. As a child, he was withdrawn, curious, and often alone. His father, a pastor, struggled with faith, and his mother, enigmatic, moody, sometimes possessed a second personality that terrified and fascinated him. These early contradictions between science and mystery, light and shadow, planted seeds in Jung's psyche, seeds that would later bloom into his life's work. At school, he was ridiculed and bullied. He escaped into books, into dreams, into the strange symbols that danced in his imagination. Most would call this escapism. Jung would later call it the beginning of individuation. In 1907, fate introduced Jung to Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. Their friendship was electric. For 6 hours straight, they talked. Jung, the spiritual explorer. Freud, the scientist of the sexual unconscious. But slowly, cracks began to form. Freud dismissed anything mystical, anything that could not be measured. But Jung, he saw meaning in dreams. He believed in the soul's symbolic language. He sensed that myths, symbols, and archetypes held the keys to human wholeness. In 1913, the friendship shattered, and something in Jung shattered too. After the break with Freud, Jung fell into a deep psychological crisis. He began seeing visions, hearing voices, and recording his dreams in what would later become the mysterious Red Book. Was he losing his mind? Or was he being initiated? Jung wrote, "I had to find out what unconscious is and what it wants from me." For years, he withdrew from the world. He painted mandalas. He followed dream symbols like breadcrumbs in a dark forest. He met archetypes, figures like the wise old man, the shadow, the divine child. And slowly, he began to understand something radical, that healing doesn't come from avoiding the darkness. It comes from walking straight into it, lantern in hand. The goal was not perfection, it was integration. If you are here, perhaps you too have heard the whispers in your dreams, felt the ache of the soul, and wondered why the outer world feels incomplete. Don't ignore it. Jung didn't. And what he found on the other side of the breakdown was the map we all need. Imagine your mind as a vast, ancient cathedral. Some rooms you know well. Others are hidden behind locked doors, beneath staircases you've never dared descend. Carl Jung called this whole structure the psyche, the totality of who you are, both known and unknown. To Jung, the psyche wasn't just thoughts and feelings. It was soul. It was spirit. It was the unseen current beneath your everyday life. And unless you understand its architecture, you're just a visitor in your own inner world. Jung divided the psyche into 3 layers. First, the conscious mind. This is where your thoughts live, your decisions, your personality, and your waking awareness. Beneath it lies the personal unconscious, a realm filled with forgotten memories, repressed wounds, and childhood echoes, the ghosts of who you were and the feelings you never dared to feel. But even deeper lies something older, vaster, the collective unconscious. This is not your story, it is our story, the shared inheritance of all humankind. Here live the archetypes, the primordial blueprints of every soul. They speak not in words, but in images, in symbols, and in dreams. Archetypes are not characters in a book. They are living energies within your psyche. The hero who longs to prove themselves. The mother who nurtures or devours. The shadow who hides what you deny. The wise old man who offers guidance when you're ready to listen. The trickster who breaks rules to reveal truth. You don't choose these archetypes. They are already inside you, waiting to be recognized. You dream of a lion? Perhaps your courage is calling. You see a child lost in a forest? That could be your forgotten innocence, crying out to be found. Archetypes are mirrors of the soul, and if you ignore them, they will find ways to speak, through anxiety, projection, conflict, or synchronicity. But of all the archetypes, the shadow is the most feared and the most necessary. The shadow is everything you reject, deny, or suppress. Your anger, your jealousy, your pain, your power. We exile these parts of ourselves, hoping they'll stay buried. But Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The shadow doesn't disappear. It appears in your relationships, your self-sabotage, and your judgment of others. The path to wholeness is not to destroy the shadow, but to face it, listen to it, and welcome it back into your heart. Deep within the unconscious are two mysterious guides: the anima, the inner feminine in every man, and the animus, the inner masculine in every woman. These figures appear in dreams, in fantasies, and in projections onto lovers. They hold the key to our creativity, our emotional balance, and our spiritual longing. To meet them is to meet the inner beloved, the missing part of your soul you've been searching for in others. Jung believed, only when you unite the masculine and feminine within can you become truly whole. Can you feel the architecture within you? The forgotten child, the silent warrior, the wild feminine, the wounded shadow. They are all you, and they are all waiting. You are not broken. You are fragmented. And the journey of becoming your true self is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. Beneath the masks you wear, beneath the ego that says, I am this and not that, there is something deeper, something older than your name, your wounds, and your roles. Jung called it the self, not the ego self, the part that navigates daily life, but the true self, the totality of who you are, both known and unknown, light and shadow, masculine and feminine, wounded and wise. The self is your soul's compass. It guides you through dreams, synchronicities, and inner conflicts, calling you to become whole. But this journey is not easy, and it's not safe. It demands one thing above all: courage. The journey toward the self is called individuation. It is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. Individuation means peeling away the false layers, letting go of who you think you should be, and listening to who you truly are beneath the noise. Jung wrote, individuation does not shut one out from the world, but gathers the world to oneself. It's a sacred paradox. The more you become yourself, the more you feel connected to everything, because the soul does not seek isolation, it seeks integration. But there is one gate you must pass through, and few are willing to open it. It is the gate of radical self-acceptance. You must look at your flaws without flinching. You must feel your shame without running. You must hold your own darkness without trying to fix it. This is not weakness. This is sacred strength. Because when you stop hiding from yourself, the shadow becomes an ally. The wound becomes a teacher, and the fragmented parts begin to return. Healing is not about changing who you are. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. Jung believed in a kind of inner alchemy, a process where your suffering is not discarded, but transformed. Like lead turning into gold, your depression, your anxiety, your confusion, these are not signs of failure. They are the fire of transformation. When you step into the fire, something ancient awakens, and slowly, what was once unbearable becomes meaningful. Jung wrote, "Only the wounded physician heals. It is your wounds that teach you how to heal, and your healing that allows you to guide others. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're just becoming someone who can hold their contradictions, who can forgive their younger self, and who can welcome their shadow without shame." The journey is not linear. It spirals, it tests, and it returns you to the same door until you're ready to open it with love. The path to your true self is not lit with comfort. It is paved with questions, with nights of aching silence, with the breaking of illusions you once called truth. Sometimes, becoming means losing what you thought you couldn't live without. Relationships, roles, beliefs. The ego will resist. The world may not understand, but your soul will know that this pain is sacred, that this unraveling is not destruction, it's rebirth. Along this journey there are guides, and they don't speak in logic or language. They speak in dreams, in images, in symbols that rise from the depths of your unconscious like messages from another world. A house with no roof, a wolf with human eyes, a voice you can't place, but deeply trust. Jung believed that dreams were not random. They were letters from your inner self, waiting to be opened. So when you feel lost, listen to your dreams. They may be pointing you home. Sometimes, we need a mirror, a witness, a guide who has walked their own fire and can hold space for hours. This is the role of the therapist in Jungian psychology. Not to fix you, but to walk beside you as you uncover the self that has always lived beneath your pain. The mirror doesn't change you. It helps you see what was there all along. And once seen, it cannot be unseen. In his final years, Carl Jung reflected deeply on life, death, and meaning. He did not offer simple answers, but he left us this truth. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Not who the world wants, not who fear shapes, but the soul you were born to embody. Fully human, fully divine. And so, the journey comes full circle, from the known to the unknown, and back again. You have not become someone new. You have remembered the wholeness you forgot. The ego has softened, the shadow has been heard. The child within has been welcomed, and the self has begun to rise, like the phoenix from ash, like the lotus from mud, like light from the depths of darkness. If this video has reached you, it's not by chance. It means your soul is ready to listen, to feel, to awaken. So close your eyes and ask yourself, not with words, but with feeling, who am I beneath it all? Listen gently. The answer may not come in a voice, but in a feeling, a silence, a dream. And when it does, follow it. It's the call to become your true self. And that is the greatest journey you will ever take.